If you're paying separately for Claude, Gemini, or every new AI model that launches, you're making your workflow far more complicated than it needs to be. Right now, thousands of developers are quietly using a single platform to access hundreds of AI models through one API, one dashboard, and one workflow. Even better, many of those models can be used completely free. No expensive GPU, no local AI setup, no 32GB graphics card. Today, I'll show you exactly how to connect Claude Code to OpenRouter, how to start using powerful free models, the mistakes almost everyone makes during setup, and why this has quietly become one of the smartest ways to work with AI. And before this video ends, I'll show you one OpenRouter feature that most YouTube tutorials completely ignore, but can save you from frustrating rate limits. Before we install anything, let's understand what OpenRouter actually is. Think of OpenRouter as an intelligent gateway. Instead of creating separate API keys, separate billing, and separate integrations for every AI company, OpenRouter gives you a single interface that connects to hundreds of different language models. That means one API key, one dashboard, one billing system, and access to models from Anthropic, OpenAI, Google, Meta, Mistral, DeepSeek, Qwen, Minimax, and many more. Even better, OpenRouter constantly adds new models, often within hours of their release. For developers, researchers, startups, and AI enthusiasts, this flexibility is incredibly valuable. Instead of rebuilding your workflow every time a better model appears, you simply change the model selection. Everything else stays exactly the same. But here's where things get really interesting. Claude Code wasn't originally designed to work this way. Yet, with one small configuration, it becomes dramatically more flexible. Claude Code is one of the most capable AI coding assistants available today. It understands large projects, reasons through complicated code, writes new features, fixes bugs, explains unfamiliar code bases, and helps automate repetitive development tasks. By default, Claude Code expects to communicate directly with Anthropic. But that's not your only option. By connecting Claude Code through OpenRouter, you gain access to a much larger ecosystem. Want to experiment with Qwen? Try DeepSeek, test Gemini, compare different coding models. It's all possible without rebuilding your development workflow. One thing to understand, Claude Code itself isn't becoming free. What changes is the model powering it. Depending on the model you choose through OpenRouter, you may be able to use free community-hosted models or paid premium models, all from the same interface. Now that you understand why developers are making this switch, let's configure everything from scratch step by step in less than 5 minutes. All right, enough theory. Let's connect Claude Code to OpenRouter from scratch. If you follow these steps, you'll have everything working in just a few minutes. Step 1. First, head over to OpenRouter. Create a free account if you don't already have one. Once you're logged in, navigate to the API keys section. This key is what allows Claude Code to securely communicate with OpenRouter. Don't worry, we're not exposing anything publicly. This key stays entirely on your own machine. Step 2. Next, make sure Claude Code is installed. The installation process only takes a minute, and I'll leave the official documentation linked below. Step 3. Create a file called settings.json. This file tells Claude Code which provider and which model it should use. Think of it as the connection bridge between Claude Code and OpenRouter. Here, we specify the OpenRouter API key. Here, we tell Claude Code to send requests through OpenRouter instead of directly through Anthropic. And finally, we choose the model that Claude Code should use. In just a moment, I'll show you the model I recommend using first, because it's surprisingly good and completely free. Here's where many beginners make a mistake. They immediately pick the biggest model with the highest benchmark scores. Bigger doesn't always mean better. Every model makes different trade-offs. Some are faster, some are cheaper, some are better at reasoning. Some specialize in coding. Others excel at writing. If you're just getting started, I recommend beginning with OpenRouter's free models router. Instead of relying on a single model, OpenRouter automatically routes your requests to whichever supported free model is currently available. That means fewer interruptions, fewer rate limit errors, and a much smoother experience. Once you're comfortable, you can experiment with stronger models, like Claude, Gemini, Qwen, DeepSeek, Minimax, or whichever new models arrive next month. But before you start coding, there's one setting that almost everyone overlooks. And if you ignore it, you'll probably run into confusing errors later. Let's see everything working in a real project. Build me a responsive landing page for an AI startup. At this point, everything should behave exactly like Claude Code normally would. The only difference is that OpenRouter is now powering the requests behind the scenes. Mistake 1. Wrong API key. If authentication fails, the first thing to check is your API key. Mistake 2. Wrong endpoint. Verify that you're pointing Claude Code to OpenRouter instead of Anthropic's default endpoint. Mistake 3. Rate limits. If you suddenly start seeing rate limit messages, don't panic. Simply switch to the free models router, and OpenRouter will intelligently distribute your requests across available free models. And this is the feature I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Instead of manually hunting for whichever free model happens to be online, OpenRouter does that work for you. In just a few minutes, we've connected Claude Code to OpenRouter, configured everything correctly, chosen an intelligent routing strategy, and built our first project without needing expensive hardware or maintaining local AI models. So, should everyone switch to OpenRouter? Not necessarily. If your application depends on a single proprietary model, and you don't expect that to change, using the provider's official API may be perfectly fine. But the moment flexibility becomes important, OpenRouter becomes incredibly valuable. New models appear almost every month, sometimes every week. Nobody knows which model will dominate a year from now. OpenRouter allows you to adapt without rebuilding your entire workflow. That's one of its biggest advantages. But OpenRouter isn't the only platform doing this, and some alternatives actually outperform it depending on your workflow. This video focused on getting Claude Code running through OpenRouter, but choosing the right AI platform is becoming just as important as choosing the right AI model. OpenRouter, OpenAI, Anthropic, Cerebras, Google AI Studio, Mistral, Deep Infra, Hugging Face. Every one of these platforms has different strengths. Some prioritize speed, some prioritize cost, some specialize in open source models, some focus on enterprise reliability, some offer generous free tiers. In the next episode, we're going to compare them side by side. Which one is fastest? Which one is cheapest? Which one gives you the best free models? Which one should developers actually use in 2026? We'll answer all of those. Artificial intelligence is moving faster than any technology in modern history. Every breakthrough changes what's possible. But information alone isn't enough. Understanding is what creates opportunity. That's why AI Frontier exists. Not to chase headlines, but to explain the technology, the companies, the research, and the ideas shaping tomorrow. If you found this guide useful, consider subscribing, because every week we'll break down the biggest developments in artificial intelligence with clear explanations, practical demonstrations, and the context most people never see. And if there's an AI tool, framework, model, or technology you'd like us to explore, let us know below. Thanks for watching. Welcome to AI Frontier. Explore the intelligence shaping tomorrow.